Hello, SPHL fans, and welcome to the video. Today, we got a guest speaker with us, Pensacola Ice Flyer fan Jaime Corkum, who just recently got married. Congratulations. Kind of was the delay in this a little bit. We both kind of had our schedules a little jammed up with you being married and the honeymoon and everything, and then my schedule, I figured would be a perfect time to take a little break. But now we're back into it. And newly married man Jaime Corkum, like I said, congratulations to you guys on the marriage.
Thank you so much, Wade. And as always, it's a pleasure to be on with you.
We'll get right into it. We're obviously talking about the Pensacola Ice Flyers in their protected list. We'll touch a little bit on their season and playoff appearance this year, going 28-21, 6-3 for 65 points, which was good for a fifth place finish. A hell of a lot better than their last place finish last year. Was a very well put together team and coach team, and they had a very strong start to the season, maybe tapered off a little bit toward the end, but overall much better squad this season than what we've seen last season. Uh, Able to make the playoffs, tough draw that first round in the playoffs going up against Evansville Thunderbolts. Took them to all three games. Unfortunately, for Pensacola and Ice Flyer fans, Evansville was able to win in three games, had a 3-1 lead in the third period with 10 minutes, a little less than 10 minutes to go in the game, and Thunderbolts were able to find two goals, push it to overtime, and win in overtime to capture this series. Jaime, why don't you give me some thoughts of this season and the playoff run you guys had against the Evansville Thunderbolts?
So it was a much more enjoyable season for sure as a fan. Getting the wins, watching the team succeed, seeing the fire in the eyes of our players, completely different. Last season, well, 2 seasons ago, excuse me, under our former coach, he the players just looked defeated every time they were out on the ice. This season, you could see the energy going out there, the excitement. They were back enjoying doing what they love. Why the whole reason that they're playing professional hockey, right? Because they play in the sport that they love, and to see that joy in their eyes, that's what makes it for us as a fan. The win loss column that certainly helps. Gives us something to cheer about. Great to see us back in the playoffs. Really, really tough to lose. A lead under the back half of the 10 in the third period like that, especially when you're up 2 goals. And then lose it in overtime like that. But nothing but mad respect to Evansville, coming from almost being knocked out in the first round as the defending champions to winning it all and doing a repeat of their championship. So I mean, it's just, hey, we're building up our first year under this new coach, and you got us to the playoffs, and we went toe to toe with the team that won the championship. I have no complaints.
I mean, make no mistake about it. Pensy was less than 10 minutes away from doing something pretty special, knocking off, the reigning champions. It was looking good. And as soon as that first goal happened, it just seemed like a switch flipped. Unfortunately for Pensy, just Thunderbolts seemed like a team possessed. They were controlling every aspect of the game after that. Got another quick goal from Jordan Semino, um, that I honestly couldn't believe went in. Like I kind of was stunned he found the back of the net with that shot to tie it up. And then once it got to overtime, like I said, Thunderbolts just took over. And unfortunately for you, scored an OT to advance. But like what you said, that had to give you hope, right? I know it was disappointing. Maybe that's a goal you would like to see your goaltender save.
I've lost your sound, Dinger. Uh, Wade, I've lost your sound. Hang on. Let me check something. There you are. Now I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, close to doing something special. I know it was disappointing, but like I said, unfortunately for you guys, Thunderbolts were able to find their game right there at the last second. Is there anything else you want to touch on that game before we move on to the protected list?
I mean, not too much. It was just really our guys went out there and played, and it just we got that that insurance goal, and it just like we relaxed, and Thunderbolts just jumped on that two very very quick goals, and it was a whole different game of hockey, and that just really goes to show in crunch time that you cannot lapse for a single second, otherwise it's GG, it's game over, and you're out.
I totally agree with you on that one. So then with that, we'll go right into the protected list. It's a good protected list,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. Looks like
Couple surprises.
yeah, looks like a pretty strong team heading in. We'll start with the forwards, and we'll get your thoughts on the forwards that were protected. We'll start here with Tyler. And if I do mispronounce some of these names, I do apologize. I'm sure you'll be able to correct me on a few if I do mispronounce. So I'm working on the names, guys. Just give me a little grace on it. Forward Tyler Burney. You got forward Matt Allen. Forward Tyler German. Forward Andrew Pulius. I'm well aware of Mr. Pulius. Forward Andrew Korapov. Forward Sam Rhodes. And forward Jack Suki. So, reading those names protected on the list that are forwards, what's your initial thoughts, and who are a couple of signings that you want to see off that forward protected list for sure return to Pensy?
So first off, you got every single one of their names right, so well done. Um, Bernie and German absolutely really want to see them back in Pensacola jerseys. Sam Rhodes as well, really really good players. Julius, another good one. Love to have that one back. Um, I would like to see Tyrone Bronte signed back by us. Our own 6'7" played really really well for us. Was a really fun player to watch. So I'd love to see him added to that list of signed back. Those are really the ones that I want to watch out for personally when it comes to the forwards. Just building that forward quarterback, and it's really in the defense that we're kind of strange, to be honest. So
Yeah, on the defensive side, we do got six that were protected on the defensive side, basically three lines already protected. You got Jonathan. Now this is going to be named Jonathan Ziski. Um,
that one I'm not sure on actually.
yeah, it looks like Ziski, but I could be wrong. But I'm just trying to go by how it's spelled. You got Cooper Jones, Landon Pollinger, Max Ruho, Emilio Mastrangeli.
Amadeo Mastrangeli.
Yeah, I mean that, and Nick Armatario. Uh, so again, you got I see a few good. I'm a fan of Pollinger. I liked him when he was played Riverman. He's a big physical guy. Armatario's a nice addition as well. Why don't you tell me a little bit about these defenders and some defenders that you want to see signed off this protected list?
So Cooper Jones jersey I'm wearing right now. I've got several of his goal scored pucks from this past season. He can find the net. He does a very good job of finding that, as well as being a very physical player. Happy to see him back. Landon Pollinger, another great physical player, gets out there, really does really good job. Amadeo Mastrangeli, another fan favorite, as well as Nicholas Armatario, all really big names here in Pensacola from this last season. Really happy to see them back. All very good forechecking physical players. Get in there, help get the puck turned over, set up good passes, and help lead to good goals. So really good group of those four right there. Max Ruho and Jonathan Zitsky, didn't get to see too much of them last season personally, even though I went to almost every game. But the four that really stand out to me again are Jones, Pollinger, Mastrangeli, and Armatario. As for anybody to add to the list, this kind of just in general goes on there, and actually we'll wait till we go to the players not protected because that'll tie in a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks like they're putting in with this protected list, they're putting an emphasis on defense. That is that something that you see too and agree with, that maybe you would like to see, like, because we know they got goal scorers, we know they can put the puck in the net. So is that something you really want to see them put an emphasis on too? Is that defensive core?
Absolutely. We need defensive players that are not only going to be physical, but also can be goal scorers because, being able to shoot the puck from the blue line. Look at Ovechkin, for instance. He shoots, where everyone knows where Ovechkin's office is, especially for that one time. And it's out well in front and outside of the face-off circles in the Italian. And so having good players that can shoot from that area, especially defensemen, that, even if the puck doesn't go in, if they're considered a threat, it pulls players off to guard them, frees up forwards to take shots, or they get those shots in, the save's there, but the forwards are right there to jump on it and get the easy rebound goal. So having that core that is not afraid to shoot, is confident in their playing skill, is very, very important for the rebound, turnover, etc.
I mean, yeah, and I definitely tend to agree with you. In fact, I'm a big spokesperson for throwing the puck on the net. Look, that shooting lane ain't always going to be open. Who cares? Uh, Seen it even in the finals. It could even go off an opponent and his paraphernalia stick, skate, and find its way in the net. You can find a rebound. I'm always a big spokesperson for just put the puck on net. Get the puck toward the net. If you have to get to the rebound, get to the rebound. It might deflect off somebody and go in the net. I mean, it's nice to get the cute, fancy shot off here and there, but it drives me nuts when teams always look for like the perfect shot. I got to wait till the shooting lane just perfectly opens up, and I got to get that perfect shot. Drives me nuts. It's you could shoot the puck anytime. I mean, you want to see quick passes and the puck on the net. And I think, you got a pretty good roster that can do that, from defenders that can score to, you got your forwards that can wreak havoc in front of the net. So, I mean, I think this team, if you can get a lot of these players back, are set up to score those kind of dirty goals. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Now moving on to players that were left off, a few names might pop out. Now, for the viewers, I would just like to say, keep in mind, just because the name is left off the protected list does not mean they're necessarily going to play for another team. They absolutely can still sign with Pensacola Ice Flyers. Some have probably already committed to signing back to Pensacola, hence not even being protected. um, we'll again start with the four, and we'll get into it here in a minute, but I just want to also let everybody know no goalie was protected, just forward and defenders. No
Mm-hmm.
goalie on the protection list. So we'll go to the people that were left off, and I already know I'm going to butcher this last name. But forward Porter Shashali, it looks like.
Shuffle. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce, but yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Forward Shane Bull,
Mm-hmm.
forward Tyrone Bronte, forward Ethan Price, and forward Zach Burrows. So why don't you give us a little insight on these forwards left off? Who do you think will return to the Pensacola Ice Flyers lineup?
I really, really hope to see Bronte. I really, really, really want to see Bull back. Bull was highly energetic, a great stick handler, and made a lot of plays and goals happen simply because he was getting around defenders and other skaters and getting a good pass off for an easy tap in goal. Um, Not seeing Price on the list was a little head scratching, seeing as he's our captain. And then the Pensacola fan page, not even the fan page, the actual Pensacola Ice Flyers official Facebook page is do they, hey, this is our captain, stuff like that. I'm like, you didn't just protect him, come on. Um, there is one name that you didn't mention on that list, and that would be Lucas Jurasek.
Oh, yep,
Um,
correct.
So now he did get called up, and he pretty much since the point he got called up never came back. But I mean that's another big name, another fan favorite I'd like to see back. Ross, I'd be okay with it if you went, but yeah, Bull, Bronte, Price, Jurasek for me, 100%.
Absolutely. And I seen there was one name that was on the playoff roster, but not on the protected list for a defender, Sam Mullen. What can you tell me about Sam Mullen? And is that a player you want to see make his way back to the Pensacola Ice Flyers, or are you good either way?
I'm good either way. I'd like to see him preferably, but I'm good either way. Um, did do really good in the playoffs for us, helped out a lot, but at the end of the day, it is the SPHL. Lots of changes happen, and I want our coach to put the best team together that's going to work under his design and his play style.
Yeah, absolutely. And now here's the big topic: goaltenders. I'm a big proponent of. I think you need stability at net. I mean, you do see it with teams like Riverman, Huntsville, Havoc, even Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs. That they got like that one guy. They don't really change out a lot unless a guy gets called up per se. Um, but on my count, it was 13 goalies that the Pensacola Ice Flyers went through this year. The goalies in the playoffs this year for them were Christian Prop and Troy Coburn, and as I stated, they were not added on the protected list. You got some good goalies that played for sure. Rico Diamadio, Dominic Bassi, Billy Gerard, Ty Taylor. You had Logan Flodell, who's now was on Knoxville, but he wasn't protected. Kyle Kuzma, Connor Adrolwski, I want to say, and then Andrew Sledge, Zach Denny, Lance Masterson, and Kyle Rank. But Kyle Rank was an e-bug. We all know that. But you got, I would say, six solid goalies on that list that can start in the SPHL. Call ups were a huge thing. It seems like Pensacola was hammered at the goalie position with call ups. What is your immediate thoughts with the goalies? Who are maybe some goalies you want to see back, or do you think Pensacola might bring in two new faces altogether?
I mean, there's really no telling. With as many as we want, I would love to see DM. I can't even say his um
DiMatteo, I think.
Demario. Yeah, yeah. Rico. I'd love to see him back. He was great in goal for us until he got called up. Or Gerard. Either one of those would make me real. Flodell was good too. Wouldn't mind seeing that. Any of the three of those, but I honestly think we're probably gonna see a couple new faces. And maybe some just because we had that issue with call ups last season, so we may see some not so well known names, some brand new names come in. That way they can stay with us. Unfortunately, we seem to train goalies really well, and they get called up. So there's really no telling. Again, welcome to the SPHL.
What were your thoughts on the playoff goaltending duo of Christian Prop and Troy Coburn? Were you surprised Coburn didn't get any playing time? And what was your initial thoughts on Prop playing in those three games against Evansville Thunderbolts?
Prop time and time again proved himself. I think that's the exact reason why we saw him in net for all three games. Um, it's that's just a fact of life when you're in playoffs. It's do or die time. It's he performed. He did. I mean, honestly, he did great. So I honestly was very happy with Prop's performance. Maybe not letting in that third Evansville goal, to tie the game up in that fashion. But you know what? At the end of the day, goal is only as good as the defense in front of him, and if the defense breaks down, pucks get passed. And at that point, you know what? We got to have. Again, it comes back to building a solid defense in front of our net. Any goalie can be great if they have a good defense in front of them. the more pucks you face, the higher the odds go up that a puck's going to get past you. So not everybody can be Stephen Mundinger and basically stand in the goal and absorb the whole, take up the entire goal. So I would like to see, obviously, love to see some of our top guys back from the beginning of the season. Is it realistic? Probably not. So I'm looking forward to what the coach has up his sleeve, and we'll see what's going on.
And what side of the fence do you land on with Coburn? There's times he looked really good in that. I could think of a couple of games against Peoria where he looked really solid at net for you guys. Some of the things that I've seen was he gives up too many bad rebounds
Mm-hmm.
in front of his net that can be put back. So, what's your initial thoughts on Troy Coburn in that fashion?
I think he's got a lot to learn. He does. He's too hot or cold. I mean, he makes some ridiculous saves that he has no business making. That you're looking at it like you know Flurry wouldn't even make. And you're like, how the heck did you make this save? And then he'll let this easy tap in, and he gives up just a very soft rebound right in front. That's an easy tap in. So he's got a lot to learn. Be a little bit more consistent, and I think I have nothing against him. I think he's going to be great in the league. Work a little bit more on his consistency. Get there, his mechanics. He'll be a great goalie.
Absolutely. Do you think like the goalies again they weren't on it, but well, you know what? I'll even add him though. Like Christian Prop, Demario, Bassi, Gerard, Taylor. Are these goalies you think that most likely might start in the ECHL or maybe even play overseas somewhere? Or like I said, do you think there's any chance that at least you could bring one back? Wouldn't you like to see at least one of those names come back and play for Pensacola Ice Flyers?
DiMatteo, 100%. I mean, he was when we were doing so great the first half of the season and not dropping games at all. DiMatteo was in goal, and he was a big part of that because the confidence that he gave the entire team by making those saves. Well, the thing is, I fully expect to see him starting the ECHL this coming year. He is that good, so if not higher. So I don't think it's realistic to see him back. I'd like to see Bass or Gerard back. But we're going to see. Obviously, my first pick would be DiMatteo, but who knows?
And then
It's so hard to pick, when you don't have a goalie protected on the protected list. It really gets you head scratching. Like, where are we going with this?
exactly, and that's what I was trying to like. There are some names that I thought performed well in Pensacola. Um, you know, usually on the protected list, like with goalies, the only options you got to protect are the goalies you take with you into the playoffs.
Right.
Christian Prop and Troy Coburn. I'm not surprised they didn't use a protected spot on Troy. Um, them not using one on Christian Prop. That gave me a little bit of a question mark because it's like, do you do that because you don't plan on bringing Prop back? Do you think he's? I know he came from ECHL. He has ECHL experience. Do you think maybe he goes back up? It's a lot of questions. It does leave you with a lot of questions. I mean, I know as a fan on a protected list, even if it's in a backup capacity, I want to see at least one goalie on that protected list because it makes me think, well, we could see, two new faces. And again, this is a very important position. You want stability and you want consistency in that role as a goaltender. So do you have like give us your initial thoughts as a fan? Is there definitely a little bit of concern when it comes to that position, or do you have faith in that Pensacola front office to get somebody in there that can, give you guys stability and consistency back there?
It does make me worry a little bit, obviously, because we don't have a goalie protected. Got to have a goalie to play. My hope is that again, like I said earlier, is that we're bringing in somebody fresh, somebody new that's going to be, our goalie for a very long time. So that's the goal. That's what I am hoping for. Um, again, there's no telling, but I'm sure Coach gets his plan. So
Absolutely. And as we're starting to wind down here, again, fifth place finish um, in the first round took the defending and two-time champs to a full 3 games. Had them on the ropes in that third period. Unfortunately, did not complete the job. What is your realistic expectations coming into this year two under Jeremy Gates, and with these names on the protected list and even some left off that could come back? What's your initial feeling? There's some early expectations you might have for this Pensacola Ice Flyer team.
well, so it's a little bit different. Saying because we got two very good FPHL teams coming into the league this year with Athens Rock Lobsters and the PD Ice Cats. So a little bit twist into it into the league this year with the addition of two teams. I'm still going to stick by what I said. We're going to finish top four in the. So we're going to finish in the top third of the league, top four this year. I dare say probably second or first. I think it's back to being Pensacola's time, and I think we might see the Rivermen just sink a little bit beneath Pensacola, and Ice Flyers take their rightful spot as the number one in the league, regular season winners.
I mean, the past couple of years in the regular season, I mean, we've seen it the regular season be dominated by two teams,
Mm-hmm.
Rivermen and Huntsville Havoc. Those
Right.
two have pretty much had a stranglehold at the top the past couple of seasons, playing very well, obviously. You got, again, like I said, I have the utmost respect for Huntsville Havoc and their organization, top tier team, cream of the crop. I expect to see them in the top three without a shadow of a doubt. You got a team like the Rivermen who's never even finished below third place in their organizational history playing in the SPHL. Um, these are two big teams to dethrone. Unfortunately for Rivermen and Havoc, has not worked out as well in the postseason. Havoc, since losing to the Rivermen in the finals, has been knocked out of the first round by Evansville and then knocked out by Ice Bears. And then the Rivermen, the last 5 seasons, have gone to 3 finals, winning 2 of them. So it's a pretty tall task, and you think Pensacola's up to that? That they can find a way to get past these two at the top of the bracket here in the regular season?
If we don't get murdered again by a constant goalie call up, so we can get some consistency back there, absolutely.
Absolutely. Like I said, I look forward to that because like I said, I do think with the addition of these two new teams, Athens Rock Lobster, PD Ice Cats. We know PD Ice Cats has a strong following and fan support. Same with Athens. These are two teams that made their respective playoffs in the Feds. And PD Ice Cats went all the way to the finals and lost to the Black Bears, who's a juggernaut in that. Athens has had a little trouble finding that playoff success, but they've had good success during the season. What's kind of your expectations on PD Ice Cats in Athens, their inaugural year in the SPHL?
Well, seeing as who PD's coach previously was, you know how I probably felt about them. Um, so obviously they're not Pensacola. Last place. PD last. As for Athens, I like to call them the Athens Ice Flyers because of how many former Pensacola players have played on that team, including my favorite player Garrett Milan. He's still sent with that team, protected on the team for sure. So I nobody knows if he's finally going to retire, play another season. It's always an up in the air with him. He's still a great dude. And I think we're going to see some good things out of Athens. So they've really got a good team. And of course, I am one of the admins on the one of their fan pages for Athens, and so getting to know some of the back end stuff like that. It's everyone is super stoked. I've already got a bunch of people that are coming from Athens. Are going to sit up where I sit for up in 123 at the Ice Flyers games. Are going to come over, hang out with us. They're all good sports. We'll trip at each other a little bit, but at the end of the day, we're all there. Watch hockey, have a good time. But I think you're going to see Athens probably top six.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you before we go to. It's kind of, I don't know if I want to say unusual, maybe a little unusual. I obviously know where your loyalties lie. Ice
Hmm.
Flyers till you die. But, through our conversations and keeping up with each other, like I know Athens was a team that was your team in the Feds, team you
Absolutely.
followed, a fan of, um, you know, seeing them called up to the SPHL. It's like it's got to be kind of bittersweet in a way. It's just like, hey, that's awesome for that team and organization. I'm glad they got that opportunity, but now you're going to be playing my Ice Flyers.
Yep. And
So,
they will be booed, hissed, and chirped out just like everybody else that comes to the hangar.
yeah. And
I
so,
might still go shake, I might still get some of the autographs from the players down there. Hey, good to see you guys. Sign my stuff for me. Thank you for losing while you're here. But hey.
hey, which that's the way it should be because, like, one of my favorite players and goalies to watch was Colby Muse. I made, you know, no mystery about that. I'm a huge Colby Muse fan. Talked to him a little after he got traded. Stayed with him after the games and chatted with him when he visited Peoria. Same thing. It's just like, brother, I miss you here. I miss watching you play for Peoria. Always a fan. But when you play Peoria, I hope we score 6 goals on you in the first period. Like, I
Yep.
love you, but for that 60 minutes, I don't love you so much.
Yep. Exactly.
But after the 60 minutes, we can go back to being cool. Everything's all right.
Absolutely. I'll have a beer with you before the game. I'll have a beer with you after the game. During that game, I'm throwing beer on you. It's
Exactly. You know, but and I feel for that because, like I said, not to sound like a Havoc fanboy here, but I do. I really enjoy watching Havoc play. Um, if Riverbend didn't exist in the SPHL and you told me to pick an SPHL team to root for and follow, it would be the Huntsville Havoc. I just have that type of respect for them, and I kind of root for them. Always want to play them in the playoffs. But like I said, when they play the Rivermen, you are the enemy. 1,000%, you are the enemy, and I hope we slaughter you. But
I
after
mean,
that, good luck, guys.
because you and I will talk. All get excited for our games when we're playing each other. We'll talk smack throughout the game to each other, and then as soon as the game's over, we'll go over the game stuff that happened. It's usually agreed between you and I that the refs sucked. That's the general consensus. So
Yeah. I mean, that's normally
the only thing we can agree on when it comes to Riverman playing Ice Flyers. Now, other games we have really good conversations about other games, but I think it all at the end of the day it all comes out down to the referees are terrible and it causes calling stupid penalties or not calling penalties that change the outcomes of the games. I mean,
yeah. The inconsistency of the refs in this league has plagued this league and continues to plague this league. Even with 2 refs, I foolishly held out hope that that would get cleaned up. Now we just have 2 people on the ice that don't know how to call a game instead of one.
right.
It can be super ridiculous. I try not to let it ruin my experience. I love hockey. I love watching hockey. And I do feel myself getting extremely upset and wanting to yell not so nice things at the refs. But I really do try not to let it ruin my experience. I try not to be that guy. But damn, they make it hard. They make it
They really do.
hard to not be that guy. And
Yep.
all we can do is hope for a better year in the
Yep.
upcoming season. Hopefully they learned a little bit. Hopefully we see more. because regardless of how I feel, like I said, it's like instead of one, now it's just two clowns on the ice. I
Mhm.
still feel that hockey should always have two refs. That should be
Absolutely.
standard. No matter what, that should be standard.
It
So
should be.
I do want to continue to see two refs officiating the game. I want that to continue. Hopefully, we can implement more replay in this league. Now that we're getting more teams, now that we're growing, I want to see this league become more and more legit by adding those little things that make the league what it is and make hockey what hockey is. And like I said, I'm very excited for the start of October to see what the new season holds with the addition of two teams. And we already know we got the Mobile Mystics joining us after this
Hmm.
upcoming season. And it'll be
13
interesting
teams. Yep.
if anybody joins the Mobile Mystics in the following year to where we could have 14 instead of 13 teams.
Yep.
So I'm very excited for that prospect. Is there anything you would like to add or say before we wrap it up here tonight?
Not anything really. Just as always, a pleasure. Pleasure getting to talk with you, going over hockey. You know, these next 4 months need to hurry up because I'm ready to go back to the hangar and watch them. Watch my beloved sport. Other than that, man, it's gonna be very interesting, and I'm calling it now. I think we're gonna probably see maybe another 3 or 4 teams at the end of this season from the Fed moving up. Binghamton would not surprise me. And there's a couple others. Columbus would not surprise me coming up, and then well, Biloxi just folded. Um,
I have heard some murmurings there.
yeah,
Monroe Moccasins.
yeah, Monroe Moccasins. Yeah, so
So
that would be another one. So there's plenty of teams in the Fed that would probably be. I mean, the Fed has its issues. I mean, the rumors the players get paid more, a little bit more in the Fed, but then like issues with Athens Rock Lobsters, for instance, visa issues. The league didn't handle the visas well, and the SPHL does, and so that's one of the biggest, stepping stones and reasons that players would rather play in the SPHL because they don't have to worry about visa issues. And so the security of having your job safe makes a big difference. And I think we're going to see a big push from the ownerships in the Fed to come into the SPHL because of that, if not see the two leagues just eventually merge. So,
and like I said, it's maybe up for debate for another time, but I think it is such a huge mistake, and they shot themselves in the foot when they added three California teams.
yeah, oh gosh,
But that,
the travel costs alone on that, and it's going to be a nightmare.
yeah, especially if your team like the Black Bears. I mean, if these say one of the California teams make the finals, you're going to travel cross country in a bus. I mean, the logistics of this, the expense of this, it doesn't even make business sense, let alone
Right.
sports, period. It's stupid. They set, and that's what the feds do. It feels like I can call the feds up right now and be like, hey, I got a team, add me. And it'd be like, all right, welcome to the league without even checking into it or seeing if it makes any sense. Like,
Absolutely.
you're irresponsible when it comes to that. But
Absolutely. We'll see what happens though. I mean, if the teams succeed, great. If not, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't see how you can put teams that far away. That's any tier lower than the ECHL. I wouldn't even want to see them in the SPHL. That's just too far away.
yeah, exactly. Like you hit it. Even in the SPHL level, I don't want to see a California team added. I
Because now you're talking. You're not getting on a bus. Let's be real. You're flying.
yeah. There's
Now,
no way. You can't have that expectation. Like I said, it just makes zero. And the expense
yep.
for that bus travel. I mean, guys, we're not just talking like a couple grand here. No. Like well over, like we're talking 15 towards 20 grand just for this little trip. Like it is insanely stupid.
Yep.
It just doesn't make business sense whatsoever. But you know what? I have my thoughts on Fez. This ain't what this podcast is about.
Yep.
But I appreciate you coming on. Congratulations again on your marriage,
Thank you, Wade.
and I look forward to hopefully seeing the Pensacola Ice Flyers a few more times next year. It's always a pleasure watching those teams compete against each other. Um, like I said, I've always loved it from way back in the day up until now. I mean, those teams compete hard against each other, and you love it. Not as big a rivalry as there was back in the day, but you still kind of got a little bit of rivalry between those two teams. So looking forward to next season. Thank you for joining me, Jamie. Much appreciated. Thank you to all the viewers that joined me and stuck with us. I continue. I look to continue to do this series on Protected List with the Athens Rock Lobsters. I got Evansville Thunderbolts now locked in as well. A lot of fun stuff. Again, if you want to be a guest speaker like Jamie, don't hesitate to reach out to me and maybe we can work something out. So, with that, I'll catch you guys at the next puck drop. And as always, you guys know I keep it Riverman style. Thank you guys.